Back in January, Mafex started to release reruns of some of their most popular figures. And I said to myself, I'm keeping one of these each for myself. So I did. I literally kept one of every single Mafex for myself that I wanted for my collection because I don't actually have any Mafex in my personal collection. I have been drooling over these for 2 or 3 years now, and finally I have an excuse to build my instant collection. And what better way to build a collection, honestly? These are grails for a lot of people, and after the rerun, they're already gone. I am really pumped to do this, and we're gonna test out some new camera equipment as we do it. It's gonna be a grand old time, so stick around. What is going on, everybody? My name is Matt, often called Big Nerdy. Together we are the NWO, the Nerd World Order, and this is Nerdzoic. So first off, the Mafex Hush Batman. There are 2 versions of this. There's a black version with the black and gray, and then there's this, the blue and gray version. I got the blue version. Why did I get the blue version? Because it comes with the Bruce Wayne head, and this is probably the best Bruce Wayne head I have ever seen. Like, this thing looks amazing. It came with a bunch of alternate hands, including an alternate hand / grapple gun, and it has 2 hooks, a large one that can go in there, or a kind of short one. So depending on how fast or how soon he shot it, that's what you're using. You can see the long one here. I don't know where the short one is. I dropped it, and it's the same color as my carpet. One of the things that makes this stand out as a higher end figure is the airbrushing. Just look at the way the darker color is airbrushed on the, like, show the different indents in the skin and the muscle tone over the gray. Just looks so good. The articulation's amazing, but honestly, it's what I expected because that's what they're known for. And I will say that aside from Amazing Yamaguchi / Revoltech, I think that's the same thing, I haven't seen any other articulation better than this. And then lastly, it's got a wired cape, and I am a total mark for wired soft goods. Like, you can make it look like he's in the wind, you can make it look like he's not in the wind. I just love having these wires. It makes everything look so much better when you're displaying. Gambit, or Goombot as he calls him. When I did my best Mafex ever, this actually came in number 1, so why not start with the best? Mon cher, ho ho. I don't know why my Gambit in my head sounds like Pepe Le Pew. Maybe it's because my dog got skunked twice in the last 3 weeks. Need to get animal control out here. Answer your phones, animal control. This was the first Mafex we opened, and it was delicate. I don't know if this was a one-off just because of mine, but like gravity would take the hands off. Like if you held him upside down, a hand would fall off. How delicate are we talking here? I even managed to break it already. His wrist broke. All right, so there he is. Like, one of the hands is connected to his charged card effect arc thingy, and I broke it that quickly. Like, I can super glue it, but yeah, it was not made well. I don't know if I have a dud or if this is all of the Gambits. Considering it's largely considered the best Marvel Mafex, it's kind of disappointing, but it makes up for it in other ways. Best part about Gambit is... what is it?
His power card.
His charged cards, not charge cards, a little different. Card and non-card effects, beautiful use of metallics. The face stubble looks really cool. Like, I love how they did the face stubble. And overall, I gotta say, the soft goods, I love you. Now it's Carnage time. This is actually the second time I've had this figure open and in hand because way back when we had the flood, he got flooded. So I got to open him up and I got to sell him like that, but I played with him for a while first. So whoever got that, it was played with only a little bit, I promise. For those of you wondering about the flood, someone actually commented on my last video where I used it as a way of referencing time. No, I'm not talking about Noah's flood. I'm talking about the Great Nerdzoic Flood of 2022, I think. There's a video, I'll put it in the description. Check it out if you haven't seen it. It's ugly. Anyway, Carnage came with 3 heads, a ridiculous amount of hands and tentacles, including a stabby tentacle for each arm. There's a hammer tentacle. There's this weird blade-looking tentacle. It's freaking awesome. There's also magnetic hands and feet, which all of the Spider-Man figures that I opened had. So I guess you can make them crawl up your refrigerator, because that's not what I do with a $100 action figure, but maybe somebody does. And that somebody probably doesn't have kids. I love the body proportions on this thing, and also the black is sculpted on there. It's not just painted. It looks really good. How about Carnage's symbiotic brother, Venom? Symbiotic, is that even a word? It is now. And I gotta be honest, of all of the ones that I opened, this is my least favorite. And the reason being is pretty simple. I don't like the coloring. He looks like he's blue. Like, I see what they were going for here. He's black and he's got a blue airbrush. I see what you're trying to do. I appreciate the attempt, but it's not working for me. I'll also add that he is really, really weirdly proportioned. The back of him, like, what are these? Are these love handles? It looks like chicken wings or a backpack. It looks like they're trying to make him look bulky without making him a bulky figure. It's really, really odd. Really, it's strange. Even the neck on the Venom mask, it almost looks like it's got like some rooster thing going on the neck. It's a weird decision, that's for sure. It's not a bad figure, but honestly, I probably would not recommend it as like a definitive Venom figure, in all honesty. The loadout though was an A+ for sure. Like again, tons of web effects, magnetic hands and feet, a bunch of other heads, total of 3 heads total. And shout out to the Eddie Brock head, where it's got like the symbiote coming up his neck. That's the best I've ever seen of that, and it looks awesome. And because why not, one more Spider-Man with the black suit Secret Wars Spider-Man. First thing I noticed, the blue that was airbrushed, just like the Venom, done way better. It looks like it's black with a little bit of blue. I think this is what they were trying to do with Venom, but they nailed it on this one. Once again, comes with a ton of hands, web effects, magnetic feet, non-magnetic feet. You got the backpack, it just comes with a ton of stuff. 3 heads. In fact, the 2 heads, I can't tell them apart. Like, is this an error? Why do we have these 2 heads that are exactly the same? Then there's an awesome Peter Parker head with the symbiote coming up on the neck, and it's on point. It looks good. As with the others, crazy posability thanks to the articulation. Overall, it's a great figure. Moving from the Spider-Man world to the X-Men. So Cyclops, when we opened him, my son was disappointed because he's like, he doesn't come with any weapons. He should have swords or something. And I'm like, Luke, we watched the entire X-Men cartoon series and the new one. When did he ever use a weapon? Oh no. Kids, you can't please him. He did come with 3 heads. He's got like a smoking head. He's got an effect head where you could take things off and put them on. So you could have blast effect 1, blast effect 2. You could just go with no blast effect. He's got the little goggles, which I don't totally understand why he has these separate. I don't see the use for them. Someone let me know in the comments because I'm sure I'm overlooking something stupid. He also has the glasses only look, which got a little bit of a Matt Murdock look going on there, but I still dig it. The color on this doesn't seem accurate to the comics. This has a blue metallic, and while I really dig how it looks, it's not accurate. There's a little bit of artistic license taken here in the color. On the note of the coloring though, they did nail the yellow color, which sounds silly, but like it took Hasbro like 10 years to get that yellow color like dead on, so they got it in one try, so that's pretty good. And speaking of X-Men, here's one that everybody one-hitted, and I only got like a couple dozen, and yep, one's still mine, and that is Wolverine, bub. And this is the tiger stripe version of Wolverine, and this is easily my favorite Wolverine. The biggest difference in this versus the Legends in my mind is the claws. We got long, sturdy, straight claws. They're not getting all like bent up and out of shape. They look really good. Wolverine came with 2 different masked heads and an unmasked head. Now his masked heads have Angry Wolverine and Angrier Wolverine, and then the unmasked head is simply the best unmasked Wolverine head I've ever seen. It's got the blue in the hair and it just looks awesome. Then he has the mask that you can put on like a hoodie, so it's like the after work grabbing some beers Wolverine without the mask on, but it's hanging on in the back. Love it. The coloring on this thing overall is pretty darn good. I love the flared boots. The one thing I'll say is the blue has a little bit of metallic to it again, but unlike Cyclops, where it definitely did not look like the comic, I felt like this looked pretty darn close. There was no doubt in my mind that this was the classic tiger stripe Wolverine. I'll also say they really nailed the height on this. He's a little bit shorter than all the other figures I opened, which makes sense because Wolverine's a tiny little fella. He's only 5'4". My only complaint on him is the shoulder pads. They are super weird. What they did is they engineered them in a way that they are there and they do not impact articulation at all. And they can even be posed as part of the articulation so they look right. But if you pose it wrong, it looks like you got like a floating armband, or it's weird. I don't even know how to describe it. As you know, I am just back to like putting videos out every week again. This is like 4 weeks in a row. That's a winning streak. So I'm going to go ahead and do something I don't usually ask for, and that is, if you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe, because I need a kickstart to get the channel rolling again. Well, I don't necessarily need it, but it certainly doesn't hurt. Also, remember, you gotta get old. You don't have to grow up. Just be cool and stay nerdy. Later.